very good morning to you, and thanks for joining us for breakfast this morning. My name is Jamb Agaji. Today is the 22nd day of May 2025. We're glad to know that you're there and watching us. On the show this morning, we're going to be looking at Nigeria's GDP per capita as it ranks low globally. I think it's 141 or so out of 191. We also are going to be looking at 2027 elections. Osun PDP senators endorse Tinubu for second term. We don't know whether that is the strongest sign to show that we are really heading to a one-party state or so. Or it's just like we say in Nigeria, where better-faced politicians that we have in the National Assembly and everywhere else. And we also are going to take some top trending issues and then go to the press to see what fresh headlines they are this morning. But first of all, let's take the quote for the day. Our quote for this morning is from Steve Jobs. If you know Apples, you know Steve Jobs. It says, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. The ability to create something in your head that you want to manifest in the physical. That's innovation. You're creating something. You are thinking outside the box. You're able to harness all the things that come to your brain and manifest them. That's innovation. Creating something fresh, something new. And that is what distinguishes you, whether you are a leader or a follower. And in this case, it doesn't mean that you have to be the top-ranking officer to be able to call yourself a leader. Just because you're creative, you think that if you have an MD, for instance, you become an MD because you are the one that is innovative. An MD that is a leader will recognize that innovation from you and tap into it. That also is a form of creativity. So wherever you are, there are people who lead better from behind, if you understand what I mean, and you will be recognized for what you do. You're able to think outside the box. You're able to create things. You are able to visualize things in your mind and make sure they manifest. So wherever you find yourself, in whichever position you find yourself, if you're able to create this, to have this mental picture of a thing that you think will add to the growth of whatever establishment you find yourself, you are a leader in your own right, no matter whether you're working for someone or you're leading the pack of whichever organization that you find yourself. So to have a leadership mentality is to be creative enough, to be innovative enough, and to make sure that things go better. So wherever you find yourself today, be that innovator, be that creator, be that visionary that will make things happen where you are. Okay, we move from the quote to the top trending issues this morning. And our top trending issues, we're starting with the first one, which is on Jamb chief denouncing misinformation, announces Mop-Up exams. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Jamb, boss, Professor Oloyede, clarified his recent emotional breakdown, explaining that it was neither a sign of weakness nor an excuse to neglect responsibility. He condemned actions by some parents who faked their children's deaths for public sympathy and urged people not to exploit sensitive situations for personal gain. Oloyede also honored the late 19-year-old candidate with a moment of silence. Reflecting on the intense pressure he faced, Oloyede revealed he received distressing messages, including false claims of candidates committing suicide due to examination stress. One parent who claimed their daughter had died by suicide later admitted to fabricating the story to request financial assistance. This misinformation, Oloyede said, heightened the emotional toll on him and his team during the crisis. Despite these challenges, the Jamb boss expressed gratitude to stakeholders for their support and understanding. To address valid concerns, he announced that Mop-Up exams will be conducted for candidates who genuinely could not participate in the initial examinations, ensuring fairness for all. Okay, there are some things that Oloyede may have said that maybe I wouldn't have expected him to say, but the fact that he came out, I've always said this, in Nigeria we don't see people resigning all the time because of one thing or the other, let alone a glitch that happened in a field that he might claim he could not control at that moment. But the fact that he came out and apologized and did something about it, even though we still think that there could be some people somewhere that this thing, you know, there were pockets of glitches here and there that may have affected some people. They should have done a holistic thing and made sure that everybody went back to the exam hall and rewrote that examinations, or anybody who felt they had genuine complaints about their results could have been given a chance to rewrite, and so many other things that people suggested. I still believe that he did the right thing by apologizing, and it shows that he knows people are looking at him, and next time he will sit up. Maybe resigning is extreme, especially in the Nigerian condition or situation. Maybe resigning is extreme, but he owned up to responsibility. Some people don't. A lot of people would have just written that off and all that. And I would like to say at this point that no matter how it seemed, people should never use this as an ethnic thing, where you say because the glitch happened in particular states, it was a direct aim at those people so that they will fail and all that. Yes, I would like to believe it's a coincidence. We shouldn't be whipping up sentiments in everything. We shouldn't turn everything ethnic, to everything political, everything, you know, because of our selfish interest. There was a glitch. If Jamb didn't do well, let them just take the responsibility, and they have taken that responsibility that they didn't do well. If we have any other issues, let us help them iron these issues out, or let's point them out so that they can iron these issues out at least in the next examination, and not turn it into an ethnic thing. It's because they wanted to marginalize my people, they wanted to do this, and people are suing up left, right, and center. If he did a wrong thing and he needs to resign, and you feel that that is the right way to go, and you want to take up that case, take it up as something that he didn't do well, not because he wanted to deprive your ethnic group of a particular thing. It happened a lot in the East, we know that. It also happened in Lagos, where everybody is. We have Yorubas here, we have Hausas here, we have Kanuris here, we have all ethnic groups in Lagos, and it happened here. So we shouldn't be coloring everything with ethnicity in Nigeria, please. That's just a plea I'm giving to everybody. Don't turn everything an ethnic fight, or you turn it to a political fight or anything. They did wrong. Maybe they could have checked better. They could have used better ICT centers or anything that they could have done, and they didn't do well. They have owned up to that responsibility and even given opportunities for people to rewrite these examinations. Let us help them build that thing more, build that confidence, build whatever infrastructure that is needed to make sure the next time it never happens like this. We should be getting better rather than getting worse from when we started. But also it gives us an insight into what might happen if WAEC and NECO adopts ICT or CBT examinations next time. They say this year. I don't know the level of preparedness that has been put in place to make sure that it will happen, but these are pointers that it may be a very long shot if we want to do that this year. Even in Jamb, some students fail this examination not because there is a glitch, but because some of them really do not have any opportunity to even see a computer before the exams. And you might be in your comfort zone and say that everybody in Nigeria owns a phone and all. It's not the same thing. Even some of us who have had interactions with computers for years now, if you give us an exam that is strictly computer based, we might take more time than is necessary to be able to write that examination. So don't take everything for granted and say everybody has had the opportunity to see a computer. And then you're talking about WAEC that will be written by some students from schools that are in rural villages, rural areas, and have never seen a computer except the ones they see on textbooks or something. And you think it's going to be smooth. It may not be smooth. So let something be done about it. Let that conversation be around how every school can own computers that their children can use to learn, and not just owning one computer. I have experiences of people who have been taught, about 300 people, and it's just one computer. And some other person was saying in their school they had a computer, but the only thing they did with a computer is you go there maybe once in a week, and you're given, if you're lucky, you're given the opportunity to switch on the computer, and that's all they learned about computer. Things like that still happen, no matter how surprised you might be. So let's think on that and have the conversation around that. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, and EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede inspected a 753-unit housing estate recovered from former Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele. The estate, located in Abuja, was confiscated following a court ruling. It includes various residential units and will undergo structural assessment before being listed for sale via Renewed Hope portal. Dangiwa praised the EFCC's efforts, highlighting the estate's significance in the fight against corruption. Olukoyede addressed public doubts about the estate's existence, emphasizing transparency by showcasing it in person. The government aims to repurpose the estate into the National Social Housing Program to support affordable housing. The estate spans over 150,500 square meters and represents a major step in Nigeria's anti-corruption campaign. President Tinubu's administration intends to integrate it into broader housing initiatives, offering citizens an opportunity to own quality homes. Sometimes when I hear about what people in authority, what people with opportunities do, it just baffles me. 700 and something houses, and these are not just houses that you build for 10 million or 20 million. These are houses that the least of them will cost you from 100 or 150 million naira. It is located in a landmass that is bigger than so many villages in Nigeria. Maybe you put together about 3-4 villages before you can get the landmass that this thing is sitting on. So acquisition of the land itself, think about how much money went into it, and then every house, if it's 150 million naira, which I think will be more than that, but let's just put it at 150 million naira times 730 something houses that were built by one man with our money, not his money, with our money, because no matter that it was the central bank governor, it doesn't seem as if you will earn a salary in the central bank that will give you that kind of money to build an estate of that nature. I'm not sure he took loan from any bank because he was the central bank himself and he built that. I hear people stealing billions and trillions of naira from the general coffers, and I just wonder why they're doing that. Are you telling us that your children are not intelligent enough to make their own money, that you want to amass all the wealth and keep for them so that they will not be hungry anymore? Because unless your children are so daft that they cannot create their own wealth, then there is no point stealing trillions of naira, because you cannot use all of it. Your children cannot use all of it, even if they just sit down and not do anything and be eating from it, because you have houses here and there, you have cars, more than 10, you have so many estates, you have this and that, and you're still stealing money. And I just don't know. But the Emefiele case should be a lesson to all of us, that you can be a demigod at some point, and at another point, maybe because the people who are in government are not your buddies anymore, you can fall to the grass or even the mud or somewhere worse. So let's be guided and know that the evil you do sometimes will just come back to haunt you. It will live with you, it will go before you, behind you, and beside you all the time. You may not be caught, but we all believe that there's a greater power that can also checkmate us and pay us for the good or the bad that we have done. So why not we use our consciences and at least use our own money to do whatever we want to do. If you want to use your money to make jackets for yourself, that's your business. But if it is money that belongs to everybody and people are dying of hunger and you use it to do this kind of things that will keep enriching you and your family to the detriment of other people, then think twice. Please stop stealing our money. I'm not just talking to Emefiele. I'm talking to everybody who has the opportunity to dip his hand into the purse, the national purse, no matter where it is, whether at the state level, local government level, or the national level. Stop using general funds or public funds to have a big name. Yeah, my people say, do not use another bird's feather to claim that you are the most beautiful. That's really bad. Well, so let's learn our lesson. We'll move to the National Assembly and Civic Organization budget at odds over allegations of inserting 11,122 projects worth 6.93 trillion naira into Nigeria's 2025 budget. Budget claims these projects not aligned with the medium-term national development plan prioritizes political interest over national priorities. It highlighted questionable insertions such as street lights and borehole projects worth billions and significant budget increases in ministries like agriculture, which saw its allocation jump from 242.5 billion naira to 1.95 trillion naira. While budget accused lawmakers of undermining fiscal responsibility and turning the budgeting process into a playground for political interest, the National Assembly dismissed these claims, asserting its constitutional power to amend budgets. The Senate insisted that the appropriation bill was passed as presented by the executive. However, budget called for stronger executive leadership and constitutional clarity to restore integrity to the budgeting process. Budget urged citizens, anti-corruption agencies, and civil society to demand accountability, stating that unchecked projects insertions derail national planning and waste public resources. It emphasized the need for evidence-based budgeting to prioritize citizens' needs and called on President Tinubu to reform the process and ensure transparency. Despite raising these concerns in the past, budget lamented the lack of response from the government, stressing the urgency of addressing these issues for Nigeria's development. Well, padding the budget is not today. It's been a recurrent decimal in the budgeting process, and it gives me and so many other Nigerians worry. You just put money in there. The executive brings the budget to you, and what you do is, oh, this money is not big enough. You add some more money. And this money that is being added, in most cases, they do not have anything to do with the good of the people. It's just to, massage the ego of the people who are making the laws, enrich the pockets of the people who are making the laws, and there will always be an explanation for that. But will the Nigerian populace enjoy these additions that they have been doing all the time? The unfortunate thing is that if you're vocal enough in the National Assembly, you get suspended, you get shut down, you get so many other sanctions from the National Assembly because they have their own constitution different from the Nigerian constitutions. Because if you're talking about standing rules that go against the constitution of Nigeria, it means that we are having a parallel constitution. Someone is representing his or her constituency and you suspend that person, that means that entire constituency has been suspended. There's no voice from that constituency until that person returns, because that is the voice that was sent to the National Assembly to talk for them. And how this is a normal thing and we're just quiet, it beats me all the time. So you talk about not believing in the figures that you see in the National Assembly, you get suspended. One person did that and he was suspended. Another person talked again in the 10th Assembly, got suspended. All the time, you're shut down when you talk. And we, the citizens, the biggest political party on earth, we're not doing much about it. After all, when we want to campaign against bad governance, others will campaign for good governance. That's how we find ourselves in Nigeria. But like our saying goes in Nigeria, suffer never do us. One day, we will get to that point where we'll begin to speak for ourselves and make this a democracy true and true. Because if the people do not have the voice, then it's not a democracy. Well, we cannot take any more top trending issues. Our time is fast spent. We'll just take a break, and when we return, we'll be looking at fresh headlines that made it to the front pages of some of our national dailies. Stay with us.